Now, let's get you the latest over legal fights around President Trump's crime crackdown, because these legal fights are escalating. Today, a court is set to take up an appeal to the order blocking National Guard deployment to Portland, Oregon. And in Illinois, a judge will hear arguments in the state's lawsuit to block the use of federalized troops in Chicago. The Texas National Guard has been in the area since Tuesday. CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman joins us now on set with the latest on all of this. Katrina, good morning. Great to have you here. How pivotal are each of these cases in the use of the government, of the National Guard, to address crime?
Yeah, good morning, Errol. I mean, these are very important cases because they can set a precedent about the extent to which a president can decide to send the National Guard to city streets, and this is over the objection of the state authorities there. It's also about the balance of power between the state and federal government, ultimately, and the willingness of the courts to curb the president's authority. Historically, they have been very deferential when it comes to situations like this, and as well about the role that federal troops can play on city streets. So there are big questions at play here with both of these cases.
Now, the administration says that this is necessary to address crime. The president is threatening to use the Insurrection Act, but we may get split decisions today. So what is the White House position on this and their strategy legally?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, they say that the president has the inherent authority under Title X to do this. They also point out that the courts have been highly deferential and that they should use that highly deferential level of scrutiny here, that the president has the ability to decide when there is a national security risk on the streets of the states. In addition, they say that this is temporary, that this won't last long. It's just enough time to take care of the situation that they say is an issue in these states. And they emphasize that they'll just have a federal capacity there, that they're not going to be doing law enforcement activities because those are barred under the Posse Comitatus Act unless he invokes the Insurrection Act, which creates a different situation.
So we could get major rulings today. They may not be the same. What happens if it's a type of split decision where what happens in Oregon is different than what happens in Illinois?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, the decisions will just apply within the circuits where these happen. And then when you get a split decision like that, usually that goes to the Supreme Court, Errol, because they then have to be the tiebreaker there.
You've watched many cases do that with us. Katrina Kaufman, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's now get you the latest on the fight over deploying the National Guard. You're looking at CBS News correspondent Ian Lee, who is in Broadview, Illinois. Ian, good morning to you. Tell us about where you are and the sentiment that you've seen and heard from residents about this federal deployment. I wonder if there's been a shift or change in the past week or so.
Good morning, Errol. Yeah, so right behind me, this is the ICE detention facility. We have seen the National Guard on the other side of that fence overnight. They deployed to this area previously. They're about 50 miles south of Chicago. The president bringing them up here. Right now, though, we're not seeing many people out. This is still pretty early, but over the past few days, we have seen some protests here, at times small, few dozen, other times larger, more rambunctious. This is a very contentious issue in the city. Later today, a judge is going to rule on this. Late last night, the Trump administration filed a response in the case against Illinois, saying the president has broad authority to deploy the National Guard. The president has also threatened to sidestep local officials and court rulings by invoking the Insurrection Act. That is a 19th century law that in some cases allows the president to activate troops to combat acts of rebellion. So this is a very contentious issue, neither side backing down. And we are going to be watching to see if there are more protesters coming out to this facility later today. Errol.
And Ian, considering you've got the president clashing with not just the governor of the state, but the mayor of Chicago as well, where do things stand ahead of rulings, both in Illinois and Oregon, that could dictate what's next?
Yeah, those clashes between the president and local officials, they get quite personal. You have the president saying that both the governor and the mayor should be in prison. You have the governor, J.B. Pritzker, saying that Trump has dementia, and to bring it on neither side are backing down. And that's really what we're seeing with this whole thing. The Trump administration says that it has every right to be deploying the National Guard, and it is doing so, where on the other hand, local officials say this is a local issue. Crime is a local issue, and that they have it. There's not an insurrection. There's not a rebellion happening here, that they can handle the situation. And so it is going to be to the courts, at least today, for that part, to see what they decide. Errol.
All right, Ian Lee joining us from Broadview in Illinois outside Chicago. Thank you, Ian.